This is the beginning of a brand new series where the rules are very simple for now. The only rule is that I can only use Astral Express members. So that includes Trailblazer, March, Donhang, Welt, and Himiko, and then any of their different forms like Harmony MC, Remembrance MC, Hunt March, Donhang, Biberlune, that's his name. And then 3.6 if we're getting new members like, I don't know, Dark March or Donhang 3 or 4.5 star. But yeah, the rules are very simple. We can only use those characters, and there's some complications to it, but we'll get into that later. It has been a while since I've seen these cutscenes, these early on cutscenes. Speaking of Kafka, so with the Stellaron Hunters, I know like I just said, you can only use Astral Express members. I feel like Stellaron Hunters are kind of free, kind of fair game to use. It's like, what is it? They're Trailblazers past group, past family, so I think they're kind of fair play to pull for. But let me know what you think if the Stellaron Hunters are in the criteria of the challenge. Even though I just said I can only use Astral Express members, but to me it makes sense. So the goal of this whole account challenge is mainly just to play through the story and to beat the endgame modes like Memory of Chaos, Pure Fiction, and Apocalyptic Shadow. To beat those game modes using only Astral Express members and maybe a few caveat members like Stellaron Hunters or Serval, which we'll get into later in this video. So yeah, starting off, we're just playing as Kafka, getting through the tutorial, and eventually Kafka meets up with Silverwolf, and then them two, Kafka and Silverwolf, they find the Stellaron in the space station. So once they find the Stellaron, I don't really understand this part. So are we people? Are we like a program? But either way, we get to pick either Callus or Stell, but I chose to go with Stell because my main account is Callus, and I haven't picked Stell, so I'll pick Stell. Also, the Japanese voice actress for Stell is Yui Ishikawa. She voices Mikasa from Attack on Titan, so it'll be cool to hear her. And then yeah, I'm just deciding what name to go for. Like I thought if I'm an Astral Express member, I'd do Stell, but then again, can't do that because that'd be weird. So I got to go with the only other good name is Kerbop. And so now the adventure begins with Kerbop, the Trailblazer. So eventually Kafka injects us with a Stellaron, I guess. And we wake up and she does an ASMR session.
それもとてもいい答えよ。聞いて。エリオは未来を見通せるけど、自分の意志でその結末にたどり着く。
And then we black out again. We're woken up by the first two members we meet of the Astral Express, Donhang and March the Goat. I'm a big March fan. So I'm really excited. Really excited for 3.6. Because right now, as of now, it's 3.4 second half. And the live stream for 3.6 or 3.5 just got released. So Dark March, Evernight, really excited for her. To be honest, I wasn't a huge fan of her design at first, but after some consideration, I'm a fan of it now. Big fan. I like the umbrella and the colors. Just wish there's more of a transformation instead of just a recolor, but we'll see how she is in game. And then they also showed off Terravox. So it's the leaked name of Donhang 3 or 4.5 star, whatever you want to call it. I've seen some drama and on Twitter, so very toxic place. But there's some drama on his design. I personally like it. I think it's very fitting, and he has a tail. Spoilers. But yeah, it's just going through the tutorial, very slow-mo, very brutal. It's a very, very brutal process to get through. But eventually we get Donhang on our team. So, building that Astral Express roster. So eventually we are fighting against this horse centaur guy. I don't know. But mainly this whole cutscene is about meeting Himiko. I know Himiko's from Honkai Impact 3rd. I don't play that game. I don't know much about it. But apparently Himiko dies. But in this game, she's the engineer for the Astral Express. Woohoo! Happy ending. After meeting Himiko, we actually get a new character. Kinda. So, like I said in the beginning, we can only use Astral Express members, but we get Archer for free, and he's it's a fake crossover, so I don't really know where he fits into this challenge. Like, do we get to use him? Do we not get to use him? I guess you guys can decide. Just let me know if I just see a yes or no. As for Archer, I'll either use him or not. It's very tempting to use him, especially since they gave out all the materials, and he's a pretty good unit. He's very strong, especially early game. But I'm just kind of torn on, is he usable? Does he fit the challenge? Because technically in the Fate story, Aventurine summons him, but he's also part of the Holy Grail, and he doesn't really exist in the Star Rail universe. So I don't really know if he meets the challenge. I want people to say yes just so I can use him, at least until I get a fourth member to fill out that slot, like Himiko Welt. And also for this account, I'm planning on being F2P. I don't really have money to throw around and buy stuff on this account. And then I kind of mentioned it earlier with the Stellaron Hunters. I feel like they're kind of also meet that criteria of being usable, because yes, I know they're not really Astral Express, but they were Trailblazers like past life, family past life group. I'm not actually too sure on it. I'm down either way if they are or aren't usable. So right now I need a yes or no on Archer and Stellaron Hunters if they're within the criteria of this challenge. And no, I'm probably not gonna pull for Firefly or Blade or Silverwolf or Kafka. If I lose a 50-50 to Blade, then sure, if he's in the criteria, I'll definitely use him. But I don't think I'm gonna pull for any of the Stellaron Hunters. So going through the mail, we actually get 20 free standard pulls and Serval. So Serval again, I know she's not an Astral Express member, but in the Belobog story, there's a moment where Serval wants to join and really considers joining the Astral Express, but in the end, spoilers, ends up turning down the offer. And I put out a poll basically, and people were saying, yeah, Serval is usable in the challenge because she really wanted to go on the Astral Express and join them. So I'm probably going to use her because I feel like it's a good reason to use her. Mainly going to use the Astral Express members and the characters that have a strong interest in joining the Astral Express. They aren't held down by responsibilities, or if they have a J word on their like planet or home. So it's mainly my thought process as far as other characters I can use that aren't the Astral Express members. So here's my 10 pull. I decided to do it on the standard banner just because the pity carries over between pulls. As like the beginner banner, you're guaranteed a 5-star and 50 pulls at a discount, but there's no pity, right? You can't really carry it over. So here's how those 10 pulls went. I got Yukong in the first one, which can't really use because she's tied to the Zenzhou and you can't really join the Astral Express. And then the next 10 pull, I got a weapon, which is a light cone. And then just going through the event tabs, actually events to do, not really events, but it looks like there's events to do because Star Rail hates giving us events for some reason. What is this? Oh, so you can just skip Zenzhou? Just go straight here? I can just go straight to Forest. And that's also another reason why I started this account challenge, is because I like playing Star Rail. I want to play Star Rail, but they don't give us a reason to play. There's no events to do. There's like nothing really to do. Simulated universe, sure, but I pretty much 100%ed all of it. Endgame content, once I clear it, I don't really go back to it. So after crossing a few bridges, there's this elite enemy, or like powerful enemy, so we decided to take him on. So yeah, we just fight him. Honestly, he's level 11, our characters are level 5, I think, so not that big of a deal. And we end up taking him down and getting the yellow chest. I haven't seen a yellow chest in a while. And we actually get a light cone from it, which I didn't know you could get a light cone from a chest. I thought it was just relic pieces. After more running around, we actually end up finding the Astral Express at the end of the runway. And I didn't realize it, but the Doomsday Beast is this early. I thought it was like way later in the game, or like level 20. We get hit with this cutscene that I forgot existed. There's a lot of these early game cutscenes I don't remember at all. So yeah, we enter the Doomsday Beast fight. And honestly, it wasn't bad. It's weird having no sustain other than a shielder, but it wasn't too bad. So we end up taking down the Doomsday Beast, and we're hit with the Nanook cutscene, and it's pretty crazy seeing Nanook in 1.0 when we're dealing with him in 3.4 with Amphorius. And then this cutscene kind of confuses me, right? We're getting blasted. We see the past and the future with the Stellaron Hunters, and we see the future with the Belobog. I don't really know what all this means. Is this a memory? Like, is this whole Star Rail just a memory? I don't know. It confuses me, but it's nice seeing this cutscene. So after Welt cures us or bonks us, we meet Herta. Really nothing special. It just kind of tells us about the simulated universe. So I decided to meet up with Herta, talk about the simulated universe, and then we see these portraits. I don't really know much about the simulated universe lore, other than the first guy was like the first Genius Society member, and there's Polka Kakamond. I know she's important in the Divergent Universe storyline, and then she's like kind of with Amphorius with Rupert and that whole drama. But basically the simulated universe, I do want to pay attention to the lore this time. I'll just skip all the dialogue. But I think the simulated universe is pretty important and pretty interesting. So I want to read it and just kind of keep up with the simulated universe lore. And especially in Amphorius with the whole scepter thing, and then maybe Rupert the Third and the anti-organic equation. I think it'd be pretty interesting to see the connections between all the lore. So yeah, I entered the simulated universe, like basically the introduction through it. And the first Aeon we meet is actually Klipoth, I don't know, but he's the preservation Aeon. And I just thought it was kind of crazy that the Aeon of preservation is the first one we meet, and that's the next path the Trailblazer gets. Like foreshadowing, a coincidence, I don't know. And they also mentioned Ruan Mei, like 1.0, and she didn't release till 1.3 or something. And then we get hit with the throwback of the simulated universe UI and the card system. Like, man, that was old. But I'm probably gonna play through it. It's gonna be way different than what simulated universe is now with the Amphorius theme. So I end up seeing Fully next. Initially I thought it was about Remembrance, Amphorius, and then something about March 7th. But then it just says the name Kafka. So I thought that was kind of weird. And then here is actually the Adlivin baby. I thought they were talking about Finon, but it sounds like it was Nanook that they're talking about. Especially since we got blasted by Nanook, or the Doomsday Beast, whatever. We get mistaken as Nanook, kinda. So we learned more about him. Basically, his home planet was destroyed by the propagation, Aeon of propagation, the bugs. And then I think Nanook ascended to Aeonhood, Godhood, I don't really know. But it's really cool seeing Fully and then Nanook in 1.0, and then we're dealing with it in 3.4. A lot of parallels, I think, between them. So we end up finishing the simulated universe, and we actually get Little Herta, but I don't think she is usable, mainly because, one, she's like a doll tied to the space station, and I don't really think she wants to join the Astral Express. And we actually end up leveling up and get another free 10 pole. Yippee, more poles. So I decided to do it on the standard banner again, just because the pity carries over, and here's how it went. Bang. Wait, is that... Oh, it's actually early. It's actually early. This is 30 pulls in. Okay, Himiko Welt. And a double. This is early. Himiko Welt. Please, that would be huge this early. No. Well, it's good for March, actually. It's actually really good for March. But I was hoping for a character. So we actually got a super early 5-star at 30 pity, and it was Japard Lightcone. I was hoping for Himiko or Welt just to have a full team of 4. But this Lightcone is actually pretty good for Ice March, Preservation March this early, just because of the defense buffs, the aggro buffs, and the effect hit rate buffs for her ult, so it can land the freeze better on targets. So it's actually a huge pull to get. So we end up boarding the Astral Express, and we meet Pom Pom. Woohoo! We gotta find Don Hang and March, find their rooms. We find Don Hang in his library, kind of get access to the database so we can look up keywords. And then we gotta go to March's room, see if she's there. Spoiler, she's not there. But I decided to look around her room, see if there's any Easter eggs in her room, since the whole, Amphorius thing and 3.4 and Dark March is coming out. And the only Easter egg I really found was her mirror. And it says the frosted glass. And it was like, it may have some kind of hidden meaning. I don't know if it's really that deep as the frosted glass, like the phased ice thing, or is it a remembrance deal? I don't know, but I just thought it was interesting that it said it may have some kind of hidden meaning. So we collect the level up rewards from Pom Pom. I haven't done this in forever, and that's basically the end of the tutorial, like the end of the Astral Space Station thing. Really not much to it, but this is the beginning of our journey, Josh. Basically, we're gonna start warping to Yarillo 6, Belobog, the ice planet. But first we have a chat with March. And she basically says she was found, her origin was she was found drifting in space in a block of ice. But what I thought was interesting was that she says Himiko, Mr. Yang, or Welt, and someone else saved her from the ice, and she doesn't know who it was. And my early theories with no thought behind it was either Misha, because he was a trailblazer beforehand, but then I don't think Welt or Himiko would have been there with Misha. So maybe is it something to do with Amphorius? I keep bringing up Amphorius, but like everything's going on in there. Speaking of Amphorius, while we're becoming a trailblazer, Phynon is fighting for his life. He's going through all the cycles. So yeah, we warped to, I don't know how do you say this planet? Yarillo. But yeah, we end up warping to Belobog, and we're assigned, March, Donhang, and the Trailblazer, we're assigned to take on this Trailblaze mission, this journey, this adventure. How do I end this? How do I end the first episode of a series to make people want to watch it? Basically, just subscribe if you want to see what happens, if you want to keep up with this account challenge where I can only use Trailblaze members or Astral Express members. And let me know if 1, can I use Archer? 2, can we use Serval? 3, can we use Stellaron Hunters? Probably gonna do this every time if we get a new character. See if like, hey, it's kind of a gray area. Can they fit into this challenge? But yeah, I don't really know how to end this off, but subscribe for more, hit the like button. And yeah, the next video will probably be at least part of Belobog. I don't know how much it is. I don't know how much it's gonna be. But yeah, I really appreciate it if you guys just subscribe. Please, we're so close to 500 subs. It would be awesome. Woohoo!